This is the channel for the woman who's done playing small, the woman who knows there's a fire in her belly, a voice in her bones, and a destiny she's done apologizing for. If you're ready to unleash the woman you were born to be, hit subscribe and join the movement. I'm Leona Schrock, and let's rise together.
Hello, my gorgeous human beings. Let's talk about reclaiming your power. I'm going to be doing a whole series in some of the ways in the underground world as high achieving women and the ways that it shows up that we are disconnected from our power. So, you are such a powerful woman. You are such a powerful human being. You know this. You know, you're like, I feel confident. I know that I can conquer the world. I have proven this to myself. I can do anything that somebody asks me. Somebody can give me a list of achievement. You have probably been leading your family. You have been leading your business. You feel like you're carrying the weight of the world on your shoulders. And you're like, I can do it all. Yet there's this deep ache, this deep, deep ache on the inside of you where you still don't fully feel fulfilled. There's this yearning of desire of connection. And as high achieving women, we often don't feel safe to slow down. I will talk about this until the cows come home because this is something that I have had to navigate through deeply. And this is one of the main reasons that I am creating a monthly membership, is because I have come to the realization that the core root of high achieving women is we literally just haven't felt safe. Excuse me. So, as a child, the way that we regulated our nervous system in order to feel safe was by doing, by performing. When we performed, we felt loved. Let me say that again. In order for us to feel safe, we performed to feel loved. This one can hit like a ton of bricks, and it can hit really hard because the beauty of a high performing woman is it's not that you're not powerful, because you are. You're extremely powerful. In fact, you're so powerful that it terrifies you how powerful you are without being attached to your achievements. It's There's some disconnections within us that it's not that you're broken, it's not that you're unworthy, it's not that you need to do more things. Okay. Because here's the thing about high achieving women. I know because I've been a client, I know because of my clients. The first thing that we will ask, well, how do I get there? How do I do this? Because the how is the safety net. The how is when you can be given the 10 steps of what to do, then you'll feel safe. It's in the beingness where you feel disconnected because you have been wired and fired and programmed in such a way that your identity has been wrapped around you performing in order to feel loved. But the thing is you no longer desire to perform to feel loved. However, if you drop the performance, then there's all of these things that come up. Well, if I don't show up, who will? If I don't do these things, nobody else will. And then there's a layer deeper that goes under there that says that I don't know what my purpose is, and I don't truly know who I am if I'm not performing and doing all of these things. And it's your nervous system basically saying, let's connect, because you have your core identity. So you have your soul, and then around that, you have wrapped your identity. Your identity, not of who you truly are, not of who God has truly designed you to be, but of the stories that you have been led to believe about yourself. And what you're really desiring and seeking is to connect with your soul. You're desiring to feel safe. You're desiring to feel deeply loved, cherished, and valued. You're desiring to feel chosen. And a lot of high achieving women have a really difficult time admitting this because that requires vulnerability. And you have kept yourself safe by achieving and by doing your whole life. And so it's this addiction that we have created that if I perform, if I do things, then I will be enough. Subconsciously, down deep in the root of this, it's then I will be enough. And you go around in this loop and you go around in this circle and you go through it over and over and over until eventually you hit the brakes to the train. You say to yourself, I'm not going to do this anymore. And it requires trust and surrender. If you've ever noticed where a lot of people say, like, high achieving women are so controlling, they always have to be in control, right? They're the expert at the spreadsheets, they're the Excel sheets, they're the experts in making sure that everything is in place. Everybody's got they're doing their stuff. Like if I am I was a high achieving woman. There were areas where I was a lot like this, and then there was areas where I was not like this. I had like multiple, I could wing it and I could also make sure that everything was in place. But I still had the same wiring and firing going on underneath. And there's a little girl on the inside of you that is deeply, deeply desiring to just feel safe, to breathe, to experience life. When you when you remove the walls that you have built to keep yourself safe and you start connecting with your soul, and you would start allowing your soul to express who you truly are, there's going to be so much creativity that flows through you. There's going to be a whole different world. The veil gets torn of who you've been conditioned to be and who God has designed you to be. And there's a collision of identity that happens in here. And we can tend to stop ourselves before this identity collision happens because we go, wait a second, I'm not about to be told that the way that I have built my life, my whole life has been a lie. And I want to shift your perspective on this. And I went through it like the bull crashing in the china shop, because that's kind of how I live and learn. And it was hit the china in my soul, crumbled, crushed, went through um, the grief. I got sick. I went through the depths of the soul, the core depths of the soul. And I'm writing a book, Reclaiming Her Power, because you are never becoming somebody. You are remembering and you are reclaiming who God has truly designed you to be. And I say this to say, I want you to ask yourself the question when you get to this inner edge point of like, oh my God, I don't know who I am if I'm not striving. I don't know who I am if I'm not doing something. I I don't, who am I? Because I know that was like the crisis I kind of went through. I was like, I don't know. I don't know who I am. And every time I slowed down, my body went into like crisis mode of anxiety of like, I have to achieve something because our worth is so attached to what we are achieving and what we are doing. And so I want you to ask yourself the question of who do I desire to be? Like instead of who am I? Because it's like such a sharp question of who am I if I'm not striving. Ask yourself, the woman in me, because she's in you, you're connecting with her, you're pulling answers from her because she has the answers. The woman in me that is living a life where she is flourishing, where things are with ease, where things are with flow, where she drops the performance and she feels safe. She feels safe to trust in her beingness and not doing this. What is her identity? What does she believe about herself? I want you to get locked in and loaded on that question. What is she believing about herself? Because here's the thing, when we tap into our soul, when we tap into our true power, not the power. So, and also with this to be said, it doesn't mean that taking your high achieving ways is like you kick it to the curb and it's like, oh, I don't need that anymore. I don't want that anymore. That was the foundation in which you build your empire. But in order for you to continue to lay the foundation and build up, because you have a very strong foundation now, you learn the discipline, you learn the consistency, you learn how to do the things, you learn resilience. There's so many things that you learned in your um, high achievement that can be used as the groundwork, that can be used as the foundation. Now, as you build brick by brick by brick with your empire, you're going to let the foundation settle. You're going to let the foundation be there, and you're going to move into embodiment. And embodiment is when you trust and you believe, and you also receive the woman that God has designed you to be. And when you're moving into achievement and you're dropping that and you're going into the power of your beingness, there's going to be some things that you're going to be moving around. It's going to feel uncomfortable. We all fight change to a degree. We're all made to change. We're all made to evolve and grow. But here's the thing, some of the ways in the ways and spaces that you used to feel safe are some of the very air that, like, okay, for example, you doing all the things and taking care of everything. It's going to require you to become in tune with your body. And when your body says no and your brain chirps yes, for you to pause, tap it to your power. And I know this is a big one. This comes up big time for high achieving women is instead of, well, if I don't do it, nobody will. I want you to ask yourself, how can I delegate this out so I feel more supported? Hold on. I know you just got a belief that came up that's like either one, I don't know of anybody, or I'm not going to ask anybody, or nobody's going to take the time to do this for me, or um, what's another one? I'm trying to think because it's been a hot second. Like my my top belief personally was I don't know who to ask. And those, whatever comes up after, who can I delegate this out to, or how can I ask for more support in my life? Whatever your brain came up with and fired away quickly, those next like seconds, I want you to look at that and realize that those beliefs are the very beliefs that you develop to keep yourself safe. So everybody in this world wants to feel needed. And the only reason that we don't ask for support is because we didn't feel safe to ask for support. We learned how to rely on ourselves because we didn't have the elders, the caretakers. We didn't have the trust there, the support and the nourishment and the nourishment and the nourishment, nurturing the nourishment, where we felt we could expand and grow and evolve and be supported and do life together. So I know we're the expert at creating stories, so I'm going to give you a little bit of my story to share with you, where it's going to help you go a little bit deeper with yourself and be like, okay, she truly did feel like she didn't have support. She gets me, she understands me. Um, and let's unpack this because if she could find a way to get support, then I can too. I had left a whole community. My family was no longer there to support me. I did not have any family members. I had to start my life over fresh. And then when I ended my marriage, the father did not show up to father. I had three children, no family that came in to help me. However, What I wasn't seeing at that time, because I was in pure survival to do all the things that I needed to do, was I had friends who would have, in a heartbeat, stepped up and helped me, but I didn't believe that they would help me. I just was like, oh, I don't want to bother them. They have enough going on. If they actually wanted to help, they would ask. Do you know how many times people have asked me to help them with something that I was honored to help them with, but I didn't think about the fact that, oh, they might need help in that area because, shocker, we all have a life that we're living. The second thing that I want to say is if you ask for help and somebody says no, God forbid you get the no, because we have such a high radar that we can take it as rejection. Doesn't mean it's personal. Doesn't It might just be the season that they're in, they couldn't, or something is good, but for whatever reason that they did not step in to help you, it was never about you. It was about what is going on in their life. Don't get stuck in proving yourself right that you're unsupported. You're going to get stuck in proving to yourself how supported you are. But it's going to make you feel nervous. It's going to make you feel uncomfortable. It's going to make you feel anxious. Trust me, it's going to hit that core wound of I don't truly feel worthy of being supported. Let's call it for what it is because it's an unworthy wound. You're going to have to be with yourself, sit with yourself, regulate yourself, walk through it with yourself. You're going to have to reparent yourself, and then you're going to have to ask. And then if they say no, then you're going to be like, oh, thank you for your honesty. You not get stuck there. You're going to go to the next person and you're going to ask. And then when they complete the task or they go do it, you're going to be appreciative. And you're not going to be like, now I owe them. Or they, because one of my biggest ones was like, well, I want to ask nobody for no help because I don't want anybody to ever hold anything over me because I went through severe abuse in my marriage that if he did something for me, it was always, well, I did this for you. It was like a score chart. And so I just made a vow to myself, don't, that was another thing of like, don't ever ask anybody for anything or ask for help because I ain't going to have that held over me. I had to go through intense therapy to work through that belief because it was like my nervous system held on to that sucker for life. My therapist kept saying, if somebody chooses to do something for you, it is not your responsibility. Even though he said those things, it was not on me to carry the weight that he did something for me. When somebody does something for you, if they hold it over that's manipulation. So receive. This is the way you start stretching and opening your heart up. This is where your vulnerability starts to come out. This is where you start to flourish. This is where embodiment comes in. This is where the discomfort happens. Yeah, this is where all the ooey gooey juicy things happen. But this is where you tap into your power. And I'm going to challenge you for the next 30 days in the smallest ways daily. Ask yourself, how can I ask somebody else to do something for me to help me, to not help me, but um, to strengthen the muscle of receiving? I'll give you a small one that felt so big, but is like, it felt so big, but is so small, but is so big. Is so I have a water system and it requires me buying those big bags of salt. I hate, hate, hate stopping and getting salt. I just don't like it. And I finally was like, you know what? I'm going to ask my oldest one if he can stop once a month, get bags of salt, put it in there, and I'll pay for the salt. But just like ask him if he can. He's 23. And I was like, in my mind, I was like, I can do this. I don't need to ask him. It's not that big of a deal. Like, be a grown ass adult, like da 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 da, like badgering myself in my head. And I was like, you know what? No, no. I stopped my own thought process and I asked him. And he was more than happy to do it. And when you give, when you ask, you're not only opening your heart for receiving, you're also giving to other people. Think about when somebody asks you, think about the fact if you did not already feel overwhelmed and exhausted and somebody asks you for something, or whenever you feel needed in somebody else's life, how that feels so fulfilling. Go ask for support, go ask for help. This is expansion, this is growth. You have a whole world, a whole community that is desiring to support you, to be there. And your life is going to start flourishing. You're going to start experiencing so much creativity. You're going to be so much deeper embodied in your power. You're going to blossom in every area of your life. And we're going to build that muscle of receivership and create the safety for you to start slowing down so you can truly tap in, become embodied to the woman that God has designed you to be. In the beginning of April, my monthly membership is going to open up, Reclaiming Her Power. Stay tuned. Each week, I will be dropping down in more information. Until next time.